Hi guys, it's Chris at Cork and Crown, back in my cider shed with some more cider to try. And we've been doing lots of supermarket ciders lately. I'll keep on doing that because it's quite interesting. Some have been better than others. But what have we got today? Well, this one is from Waitrose. It is their Duchy organic vintage cider. I might have done this before and they might have just changed the packaging. I'm not sure. But yeah. It may be something different, it may not, but it's a while since I did it anyway, so no matter. Bright and fruity with a long finish, alcohol 5%. Yeah, it doesn't say where it's from, I don't know which producer it is, but it does have a geographic origin protection on it. So that means all the apples will come from Herefordshire, because it says it's Herefordshire. Organic apples from Herefordshire, not sure where they've come from. Hope you enjoyed that tweet. Yeah, don't know much about it, but 5%, all organic. Something else though as well. Something else we haven't had for ages. Bit of cheese. A bit of cheese. So this is it. Bit of cheese I've got here. This is a brie style cheese. It is not a brie. I wouldn't call it a brie anyway. It is inspired by brie. It's made in Suffolk. Baron Bygod it's called. Suffolk, I'm pretty sure it's Suffolk. But they were sort of influenced massively by a French cheese producer. In fact, I think they basically copied the recipe of a producer called Duchy. And Duchy make, for my money, the best brie in the world. The brie de Meaux, specifically. There are a couple of different types of brie. Brie de Moulin. They make a brie de Meaux, which is the more famous of the bries, or the styles of brie. But they make this in Suffolk, so this is not a brie de Meaux, but inspired by a brie de Meaux. So it's 100% raw milk from Montbéliard, which are cows that originate from the Jura. And they're basically sort of bred for cheese. I mean, the fats and proteins levels are brilliant in Montbéliards. They don't give loads of milk, but what they do makes great cheese, because it's not about volume, it's about the solids in the milk, etc. Because you can get a cow that gives loads of milk, but it might just be a lot more watery, so you end up just throwing away a lot more liquid in the form of whey. So actually you won't get any more cheese out of it, because you'll just lose, you'll just lose more liquid. But things like Montbéliard gives less milk, good protein levels, good fat levels, and lots of solids. So, bloomy rind, so by that we mean bloomy rind. It's got this bloomy white Penicillium candidum rind. It's got some of that nice mottling, see that? Almost like sort of like a, yeah, russety sort of colour. That's a good sign as well. Not too thick, the rind. You don't want too thick a rind. You want the rind there to break the cheese down, ripen it from the outside in. But you don't want to have like a thick carpet of it that gets stuck between your teeth. It should almost be one thing. The rind and the paste should almost like one thing rather than something you can just peel off or something that gets stuck in your teeth, which is often the case. This has got a little bit of a chalk line. I don't know if you can see just here. It's not quite as soft as it is at the edges. This is just a bit too cold for it, but it's got what we call a chalk line. So it's not fully broken down. I like it like this. The bit in the middle has more acidity. The bit at the outside has more complex flavour compounds and lower acidity. But it gives you it almost gives you that little bit of acidity helps cleanse your palate. That's what it does. This is in excellent condition, this bit of cheese. Yeah, got a bit of fluff stuck in it off. Get rid of that. So there you go. But let's try the cider first. So this Waitrose Duchy's original. Where's my bottle opener? Found it? Found my bottle opener. Let's open my bottle with my bottle opener. Pop. Don't know what this looks like because I can't see through the brown bottle. Let's pour it out. How fizzy is it? Did it say it was? So it's vintage, it says. Doesn't say what the vintage is. Doesn't say if it's dry, sweet, medium, as far as I can tell. I like to know what it says about those things because often it's they're wrong. They'll say it's sweet. Oh, sorry, they won't say it's sweet. They'll say it's dry when it isn't. Or medium dry when it isn't. Or medium when it's sweet, etc. Bit of a bugbear of mine at the moment. You might have noticed if you've been watching many of these films. So let's have a look at this. Not bad. I mean, it's not as dark and amber as you can get in like a lot of ciders made from proper cider apples, but it has got an amber hue to it. It definitely has. It's bright. I assume this is forced carbonated. I assume it's a cultured yeast. I assume it's filtered. I'm going to stick by all that because it's going to be quite large production, and if you're doing it in large scale, it just tends to be what you do. Let's have a smell. Organic's good, but it's not the be all and end all. Yeah, I've had lots of organic things which haven't tasted very good. Let's smell it. Yeah, actually not bad. Not bad. It has got that slightly aged, sweated apple character, but it's got a fresh apple character to it as well. Yeah, kind of stewed apple. Nothing really no smokiness, nothing like that. It's kind of quite clean apple character, but But yeah, it's got some cider apple character to it. You know, it's not fresh marlet green eating apple. It has got some depth of character, some darkness to it, which I appreciate. I really do. Let's try it. A little bit of tannin. It's quite fruity. It's very appley. Quite a fresh apple character though. I think I'd like something with a bit more depth than that. The acidity is good though. It's got some sweetness, but it's not too sweet. It has got some acidity which balances that quite well. So actually, it's okay. It is pretty cold. It is pretty cold. Yeah. There isn't a lot going on. It tastes like a fresh, appley cider with a little bit of depth to it. So that aged character, slightly sort of like sautéed character, which I do like. Sort of hints of caramel, just hints, very, very, very subtle hints though. So yeah, it's not the most complex cider I've ever had, but it's okay. And 5%, I appreciate that. You know, I appreciate that. Some of them can be really, really strong and unnecessarily because you don't get more flavour from the strength. It's just like, you know, it's just going to get you drunk. And sometimes you want maybe a bit of alcohol to relax you, but you don't want to be legless. Bubbles aren't too bad either. Fresh, clean, bright, acidy. Hints of cider apple, hints of depths of cider apple, for those sort of characteristics in there. But not that pronounced. It's okay. It's okay. So, how does it go with this cheese? So cider and like this style of cheese, I mean Camembert comes from Normandy, and Normandy produces a lot of cider. So like this style of soft cheese with cider is not an unknown. And actually, this cider I'm having, it's got a little bit of sweetness to it, which which harkens to the sort of the wines of northern France. You know, Normandy, Brittany. They tend to have a little bit of residual sugar because they're keyed. This has probably got a bit more acidity, but less depth of flavour. The false carbonation makes the bubbles a bit sort of like what's the word more? Slightly more kind of abrasive, if you like. But you know, should work okay with this cheese. Let's have a bit. So with a proper brie or a proper camembert, it shouldn't just take like taste of like butter and mushrooms, which is what, you know, would actually with like industrial sort of camemberts and industrial bries, you're lucky if you get even that. And the thing about to remember about the term brie and the term camembert is those terms are not protected. You can make a camembert anywhere you want. You can make a brie anywhere you want. Camembert de Normandie has to come from Normandy. Brie de Meaux or Brie de Melun have to come from Meaux, Melun, that region of France. But the term brie, you can make a brie anywhere you like, and a lot of it's made in factories where these moulds are just sprayed on. It forms a thick carpet. The stuff inside it's almost flavourless. It might just taste like butter with a bit of salt added, like salted butter basically. Proper cheeses like this have more character than that. Often you will get that mushroom characteristic for sure, and that creaminess for sure, but you'll also get like vegetal things like garlic, cabbage, things like that. And they're what make them stand apart. So this smells like, it does smell buttery, it does smell fractionally mushroomy, but there's other things going on. I'm going to try it. The rind is thin enough. There's not getting stuck in my teeth. There's definitely a rich, salted, buttered character to this. There's that acidity from the middle, which helps balance the fattiness, because it's mouth coating this, and soft cheese is going to coat your palate. So that acidity is quite nice. Cleanses the palate. And just in the background, it's very subtly, but just in the background, that subtle sort of like cabbage, hints of wild garlic and cabbage. Trust me, that's a wonderful thing. Actually building. It's building now. It's getting into my olfactory bulb at the back of my nose. I'm getting it even more. And that marks this out as a cheese which is of a higher standard than an industrial cheese. Really just, it's actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good. You've got mushroom in there as well, but yeah, that kind of cabbage thing is really coming to the fore now, and I really like that. I think a lot of people get put off cabbage, well, if you're my age, you get put off cabbage when you're young because it just gets boiled to death. And it's just this horrible, flavourless mush. And it stinks the house out when you're boiling it. But actually, if it's treated properly, cabbage is a delicious thing. And this tastes delicious because of that cabbaginess. So yeah, if you want to try a really good brie style cheese from Britain, Baron Bygod is a very good place to go. Want to try an English style camembert? Tunworth is a place to go, and it has similar characteristics to this. It really does. Does it go with the cider though? We don't know, Chris. Why don't you tell us? All right, I'll tell you. Hang on a second. Got to get a bit of cheese in my mouth. It's good. And at room temperature, it'll soften and open up. It's warmed up a little bit already. It's tasting much better. Got hints of umami as well. And it's quite salty, but the salt's brilliant. It's integrated. It's absolutely fabulous, the salt. With a little bit of sugar in this, I think that'll work. Actually, you know what? That's not bad. I think that cheese is of a much higher quality than that cider. But I have to say, the sugar, the sweetness in that, with the saltiness in that is nice. And this has got a hint of acidity, which actually works. That fattiness in this, as do the bubbles, scrubs your palate. So yeah, actually, you know what? Baron Bygod and this cider from Waitrose aren't a bad pairing in my book. If I had to choose one of them, I'd choose this though. This is a pretty darn good example of a bloom around cow's milk cheese. Okay guys, there you go, some cheese and cider. Haven't done it for ages. I've actually got a bit of goat's cheese as well, which maybe I'll pull that out for the next one. Who knows? Okay guys, thank you for joining me in my shed. I hope you join me again. But until then, cheers.